the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us in prison. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle. One more time, circle around for freedom. Circle around for freedom. Circle around for peace, for all of us imprisoned. Circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. For the children, more time. For the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Nice singing, y'all. That was beautiful. All right, we're going to do one more to open up here. This is a song by Alex Pham, member of our community. Many of you know. We're going to be talking about trees a lot. I see we got some tree dancing already happening up front. This is a song that Alex has long invited for you to engage with your own tree dancing. I'm not much of a dancer in my day-to-day life, but I think bringing your body into the music really is a way to relieve some anxiety that some of us might have. So if you feel like you might be willing to move around in a little bit of tree activity during this one, I encourage you to do so. I'm just going to go over to the piano. All right. If you don't yet know this chorus, we're going to teach it to you really fast. It goes like this. I want to be like a tree. I want to be like a tree. Everybody try that. I want to be like a tree. I want to be like a tree. One more time. I want to be like a tree. I want to be like a tree. Yes, I love it. Okay, feel free to sing along with the rest of it too. Here it is in the beginning. 2, 3, 4. I want to tell you what I think we can learn from the trees. If you listen, you have the right to say you disagree. But I think there's some truth in my story, and you will know what you will see, and you will see what you will see. Cannot exist on its own, but it can be for you your very own home. Some last a long time, some only short. They can join together like a beautiful fort. As they grow, they change their shape, just readjusting, it's not a mistake. They're barren sometimes, their defense is down, but they still stand tall, knowing life's cycles are round. I wanna be like a tree. 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 How do you stand so tall and still sway when the wind comes? How do your leaves grow back when they've all fallen? I see just like me, you didn't grow all by yourself. You kept on growing up and out, but you've also had some help. Your branches grow out, reaching for others. They also go up, looking to answers above us. You root down well, make sure you're well connected. You need to be ready for the unexpected. I wanna be like a tree. 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 So strong. I wanna be like a tree. I wanna be like a tree. So strong. I wanna be like a tree. So strong. Like a tree. I wanna be like a tree. So strong. Like a tree. I wanna be like a tree. So strong. I wanna be like a tree. I wanna be like a tree. So strong. I wanna be like a tree. Nice tree dancing, y'all.
Hello, everybody. Now is a great time. If you have a candle or a chalice of your own that you would like to light, please do so. And if you would also like to, please take some time to center yourself and take a deep breath.
Love has made a place for you where everything is new.
So this is a reading by Adrienne Marie Brown. Oak trees don't set an intention to listen to each other better or agree to hold tight to each other when the next storm comes. Under the earth, always, they reach for each other. They grow such that their roots are intertwined and create a system of strength that is as resilient on a sunny day as it is in a hurricane.
Love has made. Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place
You all are sounding so good already. Welcome all to Sanctuary Boston, a community of vibrant worship and real connection, grounded in Unitarian Universalism and open to seekers of all kinds. My name is Matt. I'm the director of community life here at Sanctuary, and it's good to be with you for some song and some silence, for some prayer and some reflection this evening together. Those of you joining online, we're sharing the program so you can know who's who and what's what and read the order of service. That document also has all of the lyrics to all of the songs, so we expect you all to be singing along as well. But for all of you joining us, whether you're online or in person, as Mark David said, we hope you'll show up in whatever way your spirit needs this evening. If that means singing out, that's great. If that means sitting in silence and just soaking in the sound of the room, that's okay too. Take good care of yourselves. Those here in person, you can always step out to grab some more snacks just outside the door. And of course, those of you joining online, you can eat cookies in bed for all we care. Just live your best life. On January 8th, we're going to have a community visioning that you all are invited to talk together about what a community like Sanctuary Boston, how we might want to show up in the next year or the next 4 years under this new coming administration, and talk about what our world needs, what our community needs, what we're going to need, and how we can offer that to each other. And as I've been thinking about that conversation and thinking about my own heart since the election, I've noticed that I've been thinking more about the very long term. What do we need in the long term? Because I don't expect great climate legislation to come in the next 4 years, or, I don't know, universal health care, some other things that are important to me. And so I've been wondering, what does it look like to think in the longer term? And I also, at the same time, have been feeling so much urgency for the people who are in need today, the families that need housing today, people that need gender affirmation medical care today. And it's been a very polarizing thing in my own brain and in my own heart to do that. And as I've been thinking about this and trying to process that, I remembered this conversation I was a part of a few years ago. I was a part of a gathering of nuns and nuns. These were Catholic sisters who were nuns in convents, and some of them who were the leaders of the Association of Nuns in the United States. And they were meeting with none of the aboves, those of us who are younger and some of us who check none of the above under the religion listings for surveys. And we were talking together for a couple of days, I think it was like 2 or 3 days of meeting together, to talk about the role of religion and community and the decline of religion and what's replacing it and how we're going to take care of each other in the future. And one of the things that really stuck with me was that one of the sisters said, the beautiful thing about being a person of faith, being a person rooted in a tradition like ours, is that you don't just think of the short, limited perspective, the limited 100-year perspective. And I thought, yeah, that's right. You got to think long term, like 100 years. And then I realized that's not what she said. She said the 100-year perspective was the short perspective, and she was part of a tradition much, much older than that, something that could look into the future much farther than that and looked into the past much farther than that. And I've been thinking of her. I've been thinking of that wisdom as I've been trying to take good care of my own heart in recent weeks, to think not just of the short-term 100-year perspective, but what kind of faith, what kind of community can help us imagine the long term, as it also helps us take care of the urgent needs that we see around us every day. So I'm so looking forward to our reflection tonight by Claire Carl, a community organizer, part of UU Mass Action, who's connected with Sanctuary Boston here, to speak on generational healing. What does healing look like over the long term, not just the short 100-year perspective? So dear ones, with that, some intention setting, let's take a deep breath together. Let's take a moment to be present in this place where, for now at least, there is nothing else you need to do, nowhere else you need to be, nothing else on your to-do list. Take a deep breath and be present in your body. A body made possible by generations and generations over hundreds and hundreds of years, surviving, sometimes thriving, always fighting and caring. Let's be present with ourselves and be present with each other as we welcome each other into this space made holy by your presence. I'll invite Martha to read our words of welcome, and I'll invite you to read along.
We invite you in person and online to join us in our words of welcome. You can read whichever words you want and resonate with you, and we'll read the last line together with gusto. Whether you go to church on Sunday morning or light candles on Friday nights, whether you've been hurt by religion, saved by it, or some of both, whether you're brand new to spiritual community or a seasoned seeker, whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we welcome you.
Listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in this crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters.
Hello. So good to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity and the invitation. I'm really glad. And I jumped at the opportunity to reflect on this topic about ancestral healing, generational healing, and in particular, I want to look at ancestral belonging, especially when it's complicated. So I'll start first with names. Names are a place where my mind has often gone when I'm thinking about clues to my ancestors. I'll start with my given first name. So my parents named me Claire, after Claire Huxtable, which, if you don't know, is the mom on The Cosby Show. And specifically, she and my dad picked one-syllable names for me and my brother because they didn't want any nicknames. My parents are named Patricia and Richard. There's a lot of nicknames for those names. And they're like, nope, just Claire. My last name is Miller. I learned that it used to be Mueller. And I remember as a young adult, a child, asking, are we German? And my father answering really emphatically, no. We are American. And even at a young age, I was like, what? I don't think those things are mutually exclusive. I'm confused. But the truth of what I was really asking is, who are we? What are our traditions, our songs, our foods? Do I get like a national costume? I want all of the juicy heritage. And as I got to be a bitter teenager, I literally remember complaining to my older brother that it seemed like everything good in America came from Black people. All I have is blue jeans and apple pie, and it sucks. And I was bitter about it. I wanted that cultural inheritance. I wanted to belong somewhere deeply through space and time. I wanted to feel held. I wanted to feel ancient, a real, true home. And this kind of yearning, if you've ever had it, can lead to kind of weird places, like my own yearning and looking at Black Americans' culture. That's how you get to cultural appropriation, right? Sometimes think of that as cultural vampirism. When a person like myself, I'm a white human, from a dominant culture is like, I want. And that does so without proper respect or credit. Luckily, I never tried to be Black, thank God. But I definitely did daydream about being Native American, about what my spirit animal would be. I would drift to that store in the mall where they sold dream catchers. I was that kid. I am not Native American. I'm a bit complicated. Based on my research, I'm at least 8 kinds of European. Irish, Welsh, Scottish, English, German, Swedish, Norwegian, Polish, maybe some Balkans, maybe some Russian. Any cousins in the room? Yeah. Looking for ancestral belonging gets complicated when it literally spans 1,700 miles. I looked it up. That's about the same as here to the middle of Nebraska. And then to add complication, my family has been here for 5 to 15 generations. That's 150 to 400 years away from that land, from all those places in Europe. So honestly, things are not only a bit stale, but there's also all of this white assimilation that's coming through. You heard it with my dad. White assimilation being, of course, the ways that my ancestors let go of all of that juicy heritage to access power, to access privilege. According to family legend, when my grandfather was 11 years old, he and his German-born father, my great-grandfather, went down from their triple-decker in JP to Boston City Hall to change their name for the turn of the century. Let's assimilate, why don't you? They went from Karl Heinrich Mueller, Jr. and Sr. to Charles Henry Miller, Jr. and Sr. He was 11. I just constantly wonder, what was that like? Did he want it? Did he understand? Was he confused? Honestly, all I really know about him is that he grew up to dislike immigrants and taught my dad that we were not German. So that speaks volumes, right? I gave myself the name Carl. As I've just told you, it's a family name. But here's the thing most people don't know about the name Carl. It's what it means. When Germanic society was still pretty class-oriented, there were basically three groups. There were the earls, who were the nobles. There were the thralls, who were the slaves. And then there were the Carls, means freeman. And that name is one of the most common names throughout Europe. Charlotte, Charles, those are all derivatives of the name Carl, of that wish and desire for freedom. So I've spent all this time trying to fill out my family tree, trying to figure out, untangle this complication, this staleness, the ways that whiteness has blanched out my heritage. And it still hasn't gotten me there, to that ancestral belonging. It's been like a hole in my soul. I'll never forget this moment in college where students were invited to share a cultural practice from their heritage. And I sat in the audience and I wanted to cry. I just felt like I don't have anything. There's nothing for me to offer. I wasn't given anything, no song or dance or tradition. So next, I started this kind of strange research project of when were my European ancestors last indigenous? What does indigenous mean exactly? It is a political identity with a, definition of the United Nations. It's also a way of living, life-affirming culture. When did my European ancestors last live in a truly life-affirming culture? And I'll spare you the long, extended journey of that research question and tell you the short answer. I have no idea. It's complicated. I mean, you could look at the 700s when Charlemagne went and cut down the sacred oak trees, groves that my Germanic tribe ancestors worshipped in, and forcibly converted them to Christianity, taking those oak trees and building churches. I love that my people have a history of sacredness with trees. The Irish, Welsh, Scottish, English do as well. So maybe it was before that. Maybe it's even older. Maybe it was AD 9 when the Cherusci tribe in northern Germany defeated the Romans. Now, I don't know about you, but in middle school, there was an entire section about how amazing the Romans were. Anybody have that section? Right? Ugh. They brought roads and civilization. It was amazing. No. As an adult, sniffing around, I've decolonized that story, and I've learned the names of European tribal leaders who resisted the imperialism, who resisted that empire. Why didn't we learn their history? Boudica in England, Vercingetorix, and now France, and my personal favorite, Arminius. Definitely a Latin name. We don't know his true Germanic name, but he was from the Cherusci tribe. So a little background, so you can truly appreciate how cool he is. When Romans come to colonize you, the first stage is they're like, here's a road, just pay us taxes, it'll be cool. And people are like, okay, you are really intense, sure, that seems scary. And then they keep coming back, and it gets more intense. And one of those stages is they take the firstborn sons of the chiefs, and they take them back to Rome and raise them through the army to assimilate. It's one of the types of genocide, right? Arminius was one of those sons. And he was successful. He rose through the ranks of the Roman army, and eventually they said, hey, we're going back to keep colonizing Germania. You want to come? And he went back. But it turns out, when he got back, he realized the truth of what was happening. And he organized a secret revolt of all the Germanic tribes, sucker punched the Romans into going to this terrible valley that was really vulnerable, and destroyed 3 legions. That's like 20,000 Romans, and literally is credited with the fall of the Western Roman Empire. This is such a cool story. If you want to see more, there's a Netflix special about him. It's called Barbarians, because that is what the Romans called my ancestors, the barbarians. It's the equivalent of the Pilgrims calling the Native Americans savages. So I could dork out on that a lot longer. But it still hasn't brought me that real intense belonging that I wanted. It still feels complicated. So next, I went to Germany. I decided, you know what, maybe I'll go there and I'll stand in the land and I'll feel something. I literally went to one of the few remaining primeval beech tree forests in all of Europe. I stood there under that canopy and I looked at them like the song. And I tried to say, am I here? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this where I can feel something? And I missed the ocean. So I grew up here in Massachusetts, and every time I step out of Logan, especially in the summer, I don't know if you have this experience, but when it's muggy, the smell of the ocean kind of slaps you in the face. That's the moment when I'm like, Boston. There's something there, right? That's undeniable. Native American Penobscot writer and lawyer Sherry Mitchell says that the iron in our blood orients to the magnetic place where you're born. Now, I don't really have any idea what that means on a molecular level, but I love it. I'm like, there it is. There's a crumb of my belonging here. I'm certainly not trying to be Native American. That's not what that is, but I do feel something here. I know well the outline of a white pine. I know what a chickadee sounds like. I can spot wild strawberries here or skunk cabbage. In Robin Wall-Kimmerer's book, Braiding Sweetgrass, I'm assuming many people here have read it, she says pretty clearly that you can't become indigenous. But she also says maybe you can be naturalized. And if you don't know, in botany, naturalization are non-native plants, that's me, that grow and reproduce on their own in a new environment, but with almost no negative impact. They've become part of the ecosystem in a way that weaves in, that works. That is definitely what I would like to be. I'd like to be a non-native species in a new ecosystem that's also contributing positively. So, I didn't find a true home in my DNA tests, in my research, in my trips to Europe. That part of me is complicated by ethnicities, by centuries, by white supremacy. And my relationship here will always be complicated by colonialism, and I'm not going to skip over any of that. But the side benefit that I never anticipated is that by knowing all of these things and having explored all of these routes, I've suddenly slowly become more comfortable in myself, in my own skin. I know more of my own story, whether it was 2,000 years ago or my grandparents. And at the end of the day, I had this moment where I was like, oh my God, my ancestors are definitely laughing at me right now because I finally put it together. My first name, Claire, means clear. And my middle name is Barbara, which means barbarian. And so my ancestors sent me a message in a bottle that I am clearly a barbarian. I am clearly fighting against empire. And that is the home that is most true. And so may we all heal through the generations of oppression, honor the indigenous people of whose lands we are on, and be at home together in our movements for liberation. Thank you.
There's a river somewhere that flows through the lives of everyone, and it flows through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a star in the sky that brightens the lives of everyone. It brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. I hear so many of you singing along already. We're going to do that beginning one more time just in case this one is new to you. Let's sing again. There's a river somewhere. There's a river somewhere that flows through the lives of everyone. It flows through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a star in the sky that brightens the lives of everyone. And it brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, I do. 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 There's a voice from the past that speaks through the lives of everyone. And it speaks through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a smile in your eyes that brightens the lives of everyone. It brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, oh yes I do. 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 Yes I do.
Thank you, Sanctuary Band. And thank you so much, Claire Carl, for such a beautiful reflection and for bringing yourself and your story and your name to us. This is the time in our gathering where we offer money and resources from ourselves and our community with a community partner organization. This evening, we are going to be collecting money for UU Mass Action. UU Mass Action is our Massachusetts UU state-based action network. Many action networks like this exist in different states around the country that help select priority legislation and put our values of justice, equity, peace, transformation, pluralism into state legislation. UU Mass Action has a bunch of different campaigns that include housing justice, immigration justice, climate justice, and in particular, Indigenous justice here in Massachusetts. UU Mass Action was selected for us by our amazing friends of our Offering Ask team, who look at organizations that we are connected to and try to figure out how to make our money make as big a difference as possible. They helped us select UU Mass Action to support the networks that UU Mass Action is supporting of frontline Indigenous communities here in Massachusetts and their legislative agenda, which includes things like making Indigenous Peoples Day a state holiday and other kinds of legislative asks that those frontline communities have put together. So we invite you to share as you are able. Have the directions for you, which are, if you are online, we're putting the links in the chat. You can also give on Venmo or PayPal. Venmo is @SanctuaryBoston, and the instructions are up here. You can also use this QR code. If you have a joy or a sorrow, we're going to come around and collect those right now. If you want to share a joy or a sorrow card, you can wave at Mara, and she'll help bring you one. Thank you. Your gift is now generously received.
We arrive together, bringing all the joys and sorrows of our complex lives with us this evening. Some of us arrive here wrestling difficult things, feeling the pain of a broken world around us and within us. Some of us arrive full of blessings and brimming with gratitude. From those of us in person, from Joe Lepkin, a joy. If you had told me at our first exploratory worship 2 years ago, 12. Wrong number. 12, that's a much bigger number. Years ago, that the Sanctuary House Band would be recording an album of original music, I don't think I would have believed you, but I would have been delighted. Such a joy in spending this weekend with Sanctuary Beloveds making music. Thank you to Mark David, Matt, Alex, and Michael for their leadership and vision, and to Tayward, Lucas, Ashley, Emily, and Callie for your music and good spirits. Excited to share the energy of this community with the world. I'm excited for his album. A joy from Jesse. My joy is a box of fresh garlic that arrived from Carolyn. Best auction win ever. I'm making so much garlic bread. Oh, that's delightful. A joy from Mara. I'm so happy I get to hang out with my cousin Lyndon. Yay. A mixture from adult Mara. I'm moving out of Boston in a few weeks to fulfill a lifelong dream of backpacking in South America. Very excited, but going to miss this community a lot. I'm full of gratitude and joy. We'll miss you, Mara. A joy from Leona. I finished my last day of classes for this fall semester today. Only one more semester till I graduate. Woo! You're almost there. That is all from our folks in person.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
We now invite those of you sharing online to share any joys or sorrows you're carrying with you in the chat box. I'll share them out loud here from the mic. If you'd like to keep it anonymous, please message me directly. I am Rhea, R-H-E-A, parentheses, joys and sorrows. Rhea, R-H-E-A, parentheses, joys and sorrows. A joy from Ed. My younger brother came out as trans a couple of years at the age of 62. Hearing her story, I was supportive and happy for her. I just watched a movie called Will and Harper. I recommend it for anyone who wants to learn more about the trans experience. A joy from Yvonne. I got to meet my friend's 6-day-old baby the other day. She's so small and so cute. From Anonymous, my elderly mom entered hospice today. A deeply unhappy and troubled person. I hope she finally finds peace. A joy from Carol. My fellowship's Faithify campaign was successful, and we'll have the first larger Brazilian UU gathering in more than a decade. I'll lead worship. It's exciting. A sorrow from Ran. My father was diagnosed with ALS in January, and I have spent much of this year traveling back and forth to help my sister support him. He died at home on November 22nd. Holding you in that. A joy from Carol. Roommate transition includes a live-in cat, a perfect gentleman. A sorrow from Sarah. A dear friend's death 2 weeks ago, and an uncertainty. I am back in the classroom to fill in for another professor, and oh, the students are so stressed. It was a bit dispiriting on all counts. That's all from our online folks this evening.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life and love, of our ancestors who have come to know us in our homes. We are here together, full of joys, of delicious garlic, of the end of semesters, of the promise of new, of getting to see young, fresh life. But we also know that there's always sorrow mixed in there. The transitions that come with life. And sometimes those transitions are a confusing mixture of feelings. The joy of a dream, but the hardship of leaving community. We also see there's the deep sorrow, the loss of people cared for, the transition into hospice when it has been difficult relationships. We see all of that. And we hold all of each other in joy and in sorrow and happiness and the mixture of both an enthusiasm and the feeling of breaking down. We are in this together, and we are connected to each other. And when we hold each other, we continue the practice from ages past of knowing that we are not alone. Amen.
Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew.
At Sanctuary, we have a practice of lighting candles. Lighting a candle here can represent just whatever the flame within you looks like tonight. Whether it's flickering or burning brightly, there's something sparkly and divine in you, and we recognize it. And as you pass the taper from one person to the next, we invite you to take a moment and see the divinity that is between each of us. Those of you online, we want to invite you to see the divinity between each of you through the mysterious web of the internet. So as we light candles here in person, if you'd like, you can send a private message to somebody, maybe somebody you don't know. Just a little acknowledgement, a little note of care as you pass a light from heart to heart. So in a moment, we'll sing Sanctuary again and then begin to hum as we light candles here at the front or just in the front of the room. Not in the back today, right, front of the room. And then as our candles are all aglow, we'll sing Sanctuary again. Let's sing.
Make us where we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew. Make us where we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew. Make us where we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew. Make us where we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through. With thanksgiving, we are a living sanctuary anew.
May we heal the generations of oppression together and know that we have our ancestors with us. Blessed be.
May the life I lead speak for me. Let the life I lead speak for me. When I come to the end of my road and I lay down my heavy load, let the life I lead speak for me.
The friends I have,
Let the friends I have speak for me. come to the end of the road, and I lay down my heavy load, let the love I share speak for me. Let the songs I sing speak for me. Let the songs I sing speak for me. When I come to the end of the road, and I lay down my heavy load, let the songs I sing speak for me. The life I lead, let the life I lead speak for me. Let the life that I lead speak for me. When I come to the end of my road, and I lay down my heavy load, may the life I lead speak for me.
I invite you to take a deep breath, set the song down gently, as a friend of mine says. And I'll invite you into our final ritual of the evening, the ritual of invitations and announcements.